My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Central Hill Road, Acre, Mississippi, 38841. I am under attack by people practicing Scientology. There is more space in the universe than humans can see. There are extra dimensions. We have biology in these extra dimensions. They reside within the particle itself. So inside of the particles in which we reside 11 dimensions. Think of it as our third dimensional being a shell. Everything you see in the world is just a shell. There is something inside of it. This particle has extra energy that flows through the dimensions, 11 dimensions. Go inward. It looks like inward expansion. We have biology in this other place, in the extra dimensions inside of it. They call it the inverse. They call it our inverse. When we die, we utilize this extra dimension, this extra dimensional biology, to have an afterlife. So yes, when we die, we leave ourselves in our extra dimensions. They call it raising or turning in. We actually, our consciousness goes into our extra dimensions. We leave ourselves. If you're healthy and in a good environment, you actually fly into outer space. Outer space. They drove a worm through my voice. They drove a worm through it. A little worm. Drive organism. So Scientology is the practice of utilizing your extra dimensions before you die. They actually remove them from themselves. They use technology and techniques to turn it into an upper dimensional vehicle. One of them just said, so they remove their inner dimensions, their extra dimensions. Getting interferes with my thought patterns. They have literally gotten down to the quick. This is a recent event. They have removed more and more biology from me, my brain tissue. They call it the in between. They finally gotten to a place where they can interfere with my thought patterns. So Scientologists removed their inner extra dimensions and they turned it into an upper dimensional vehicle in which they can drive. This technology allows them to do several things. First, it allows them to drive their upper dimensions. It allows them to drive their upper dimensional biology. Second, it allows them to assimilate themselves into a hive mind. So there is an entanglement property in our third dimension and our extra dimension. If you lose a body part or remove a body part, it is still entangled with our third dimension. You are still in it, no matter where it goes in the universe. Yes, they like to remove biologies from. They are body snatchers. So they utilize this entanglement property for hive mind purposes. They remove brain tissue from people and they put it into a little pod or little box and they install it into a computer system. They install your extra dimensional brain tissue into a computer system. From there, they can link themselves or they can interact with each other and communicate with each other in a digital landscape. As they do the thalamus and the brainstem mostly, and upper dimensional brain pieces. They put it all in one place in a little box inside of a store system. That's UMAS and Preservision. It is a Google and Facebook company, Dell and Microsoft. It's tech companies, internet companies, social media. They are taking body parts from the public, especially social media and the marketing companies. They do this so they can read your mind, invade your privacy. They can actually take eye nerves and see what you see in the world and invade your environment this way. They do this in an attempt to increase your consumerism, to try to sell you things. So they can read your thought patterns and determine what you want to buy or what you would like to buy, what you are buying. Try to show you ads related to your purchasing. This is one aspect of Scientology. This is their hive mind tech. They also interface technology with their brain tissue and central nervous system in the third dimension and upper dimension. This records sensory perception information. So they can see what you see, hear what you hear, taste what you taste, smell what you smell, and even feel what you feel. They can feel your pain and pleasure. And they also install this technology on their sexual organs so they can have sexual experiences with each other. I'm very sick. So then this technology allows them to create surrogates. So in the same process they use to drive their upper dimension, they can also drive other organisms that are not them. They can drive humans, animals, insects, worms in any dimension. They can even drive third dimensional humans. They like to drive humans, cats and dogs, insects like houseflies, and worms, parasites, use them as weapons. And then lastly, this technology artificially stimulates neural tissue so they can stimulate you. They can isolate memories or thought patterns and stimulate these, make you experience memories or thought patterns. Plus, they can stimulate your emotional center of your brain. They can make you cry. They can make you happy. They can make you hear and see things as part of their phone service, communication device. And it also stimulates neurons. So they send energy through their neurons and it stimulates neurochemical metabolism, which means it elevates neurochemistry. It elevates neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin. They can even elevate oxytocin levels. This has a narcotic-like effect upon the users as they are very high and they stay that way all the time. So a large percentage of the population is criminal, or the Scientology population is criminal. They use their upper dimensions to commit crimes. They like to do things like invade privacy. They like to steal body parts, especially social media, uh, tech companies, marketing companies, media companies, and the government. They also steal biologies for surrogate purposes, transplant purposes. What happens is when they remove their biology from themselves, there's a system Scientology uses. They don't let people access their entire biology. So they chop their biologies into pieces. Every 3 dimensions, they get another cut. They wind up with 3 biologies in total in the upper dimension. It's actually 4 counting your Gast or your Anunnaki. These biologies can't exist like this. They can't survive. cut to pieces. So these people are using organs and tissues from other organisms. They use tissues and organs from humans, lizards, bugs, worms, mostly. So they convert their upper dimensions into lizard people, insectoids, worm people, and then there's the alien form. And then some of them even use their gas, their Anunnaki, but it turns into a ghost. It's like it's hollow, but it's a piece of biology which you can drive. It is mostly energy. So ever since the 50s and 60s, people have been experiencing alien presence. They've been seeing aliens most of the time in their sleep, and then they experience out of body experiences, which is probably getting cut. They probably cut them, and if you're sleeping, you actually go with it. Some of them don't come back. Some of them wake up, and they're probably using technology on these people. Yeah, they like to do it for fun, for entertainment. Plus, they do it for attractive reasons. If they find you attractive, they like to mess with you. And people wake up far away from their homes, out in the middle of the woods or fields, missing time, not knowing what happened, or with an experience of like an alien abduction. Some of them even get tortured or experimented on. People doing this are humans on Earth. They're probably stealing body parts. Either that, or they need to alter your behavior in some way. You probably are performing a function in the world that they need to take control of, and they do this a lot. Scientology has taken over the world, especially if you have a job that they need to control. So the Scientology community is a criminal enterprise. That is all they do. Firstly, they are conditioned to remove body parts from organisms. They do for a living. So they remove their upper dimensions and turn it into an upper dimensional vehicle. I forgot that people have to pay for their dimensions. So if you don't have much money, you get a lower dimensional organism. You're 4 through 7. If you got a little more money, you get your 8 through whatever, wherever they cut you. And then if you have a lot of money, or you are powerful, you get your upper dimension. That's how they do it. They make you pay for your own biology. Scientology does. So these people like to do things like invade homes, invade businesses, invade privacy of people. They like to exploit people. They like to force assimilation on people. So if you have influence, power, or authority, or if they just find you attractive, they like to force you into their hive mind and force you into the world of Scientology. So either they can control you or have access to you, like a kidnap victim. Sometimes for sexual purposes, sometimes to exploit your influence on the world, your influence or your power or your authority. So they do this to people with influence. They do this to uh, government officials like the FBI and the CIA. They do this to politicians. They force assimilation. And the military has a big Scientology presence, the extra dimensional presence. And then they like to remove biologies from people, sometimes for transplant purposes. So maybe they need your biology to help them survive for their Scientology purposes because they need body parts for their Scientology. It's required for practices, other people's body parts. Torture and rape is rampant among these people, especially if you talk back to them or do something to make them mad or they find you attractive for sexual reasons. They like to torture and rape victims constantly. Some of these people do this often. They like to use parasites as weapons. See, they can drive other organisms, other organisms, and they can drive parasites through humans. They use them as weapons, like they're doing to me, torture devices. So they're weapons of mass destruction. And I have reason to believe they are responsible for the corona outbreak, the COVID outbreak. And they have hurt a lot of people. Some of them have very violent tendencies. They want to. Some of them are very religious. They're religious zealots, or they have an occult personality or occult behavior. So some of them are worshiping the Christian religion. And Christianity preaches that the God or the gods, they cast plagues upon earth. They kill a lot of people, bring floods to the earth. They're the God of wrath, the Christian God. He hurts people. They send people to hell, practice martyrdom. He's telling people the Christian experience, other Scientologists. They've bought into it big time, trillions of dollars. And I'm part of the process. My name is Christopher, so they call me Saint Christopher. And I write intellectual content that saves the planet. I wrote Crazy Bird Comics. I wrote the Environment Creation Agency. I wrote Divine Currency.